The following program is brought to you by Cloudcast Media, a podcast leader in developing shows to elevate local brands, local stories, and local storytellers. Cloudcast, bringing ears and minds home.
The San Diego Union Tribune and Retirement Strategies Group present the Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show with your host, Drew Schlossberg.
I'm Drew Schlossberg of the San Diego Union Tribune, and we are pleased to have in the studio with us today Jaden Risner. He's the CEO and co-founder of Family Proud. How you doing, Jaden?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, Drew.
Yeah, absolutely. So when did you form the business? What's the mission, and what can we do to help support your efforts?
Yeah, so Family Proud was founded in fall of 2018, and Family Proud's a software that helps bring peace of mind to patients and families. And for us, really doing what we can to impact the community, families within the community that are going through hardship.
So, and is it any type of patient or family? Is it focused on military or those folks who are underrepresented, or really it's almost anyone?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, certainly our end vision is to be able to help people across the full spectrum of care. But right now we're live with Rady Children, so focused in the pediatric space, as well as with our backgrounds in the veteran and military space as well.
Right. Did you serve?
I did. I spent a number of years active duty, now a reservist, and happy to be serving both the community and continue to serve the country as well.
Thank you for your service. Really appreciate that. What branch were you in?
Navy. So
really?
Hence here, lovely San Diego.
Sure. So how long were you here?
So I've been here about 10 years in San Diego now.
Okay. And then were you active here, or are you all over the place?
Active duty here in San Diego.
Nice. Okay. Where were you stationed?
So right here on North Island.
Okay. Coronado?
Background, Coronado.
Who was your CO? Was it, I'm trying to think, was it Yancey?
I'm not sure exactly. I've had a number of them over the years. So.
Okay, yeah. We do a lot of work, as we were mentioning offline, the Union Tribune. We've had a radio show with the San Diego Military Advisory Council for about 12 years now. So we're honored to do that, as well. What got you into this space? Do you have a background? I mean, obviously you have a military background, but is health always been in focus of yours, or working with youth?
Yeah, it was the analogy I like to use is it was like a cannonball into the deep end of a pool, but actually no healthcare background, no tech background, certainly engineering growing up, but for me, very personal touch point growing up. And while I was in the service, actually, one of my deployments, mother had a hardship, and so that concept of remote support, exposure to the patient and family care space, certainly significant, and certainly seeing a lot of those gaps as well as through the Sailors and Marines here in San Diego, that although they're stationed here, amazing ecosystem, the rest of their family and community is oftentimes other places in the country and world. And for us, how do we connect that, close that gap, and help that families receive more support? Right.
So give an example. How would that work? Let's say, so you've got somebody who is active or a reservist or whatever the case may be in San Diego, but their family lives in, Fargo or whatever the case. How does that work?
Right. So, definitely amazing resources that are out there, especially here in San Diego. And, definitely all the healthcare and everyone out there doing amazing work. But oftentimes, as we know, there's a lot of resources that are often not fulfilled. And our ability for a family to connect them to another family that's going through a similar hardship. So an example, a mom whose son is going through cancer, connect her to another mom who's going through cancer and be able to truly share those lessons learned. There's a lot of empowerment for a family to be able to say that I understand what you're going through. And so the ability to not only connect them to families that are going through similar hardship, but also to their support network and really helping facilitate how they can help. And I know oftentimes people are always asking, how can I help? What can I do? And if you're on the other side of the country, there's only so many flowers you can send. And so,
right.
Truly giving them a way to deliver that's important.
So how can they help in that scenario? What do they do? How can they help?
Yeah, so through the platform, it actually allows, certainly streamlined communications. So instead of managing a number of group texts and different messages, streamlined updates. So communications, of course, paramount. But on top of that, we have, similar to a wedding registry, called a care registry. And now there's products and services that instead of a blanket donation, there's a very transparent ask of how they can support you. And that's even for those here in San Diego. So can someone watch the dog next week or watch the kids? So tangible support areas as well.
So then somebody who wants to be on the helping side, versus getting help, will go to the website and see that, Jaden Risner, and it could be anywhere in the country, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, right. And you're not necessarily starting local?
We are focused in the local area right now, but certainly if the platform is of value to anyone across the country, we don't want to stop that, but the focus is certainly San Diego to start.
Right, exactly. So then someone will sit there and say, so Jaden Risner says, I need someone to, walk the dog, or I need someone to, go grocery shop, I don't know, whatever the case may be. Right. Someone picks up on it, knows it's been vetted, so it's not some goofiness where someone's going to, get into some issue on it. And then they'll go, okay, I'll be able to help you do X. Is that how that works?
Yeah, so right now, and certainly, especially this day and age, privacy for families is extremely important. And so right now, only the invited network for that family can support that family at this time. We're certainly exploring ways for others who are properly vetted to help as well. But right now, to make sure that it's a safe platform, and it's only those who are invited, so friends of friends, extended family members and such. Right.
We're chatting with Jaden Risner. He's the CEO and co-founder. So who's your partner?
Yeah. So Clay Tresca is a co-founder. We met at Rady School of Management here through the Executive MBA program, and so certainly fortunate to call him co-founder. And for him, his background also military. Former Marine Staff Sergeant, and went through some of his own hardships on the healthcare side, and so 2-time cancer survivor. And so for him, understanding the patient side as well as being a local healthcare executive certainly provided us both ends of the support spectrum. Myself as a caretaker and himself as a patient, truly understanding both sides.
Right. So then, the family member will say, here are the people that are in our care list or whatever. What term did you use before?
Care registry.
Care registry, gotcha. Component. So, and if they're not on it, thank you, but, we're not quite wanting to expand it and all this. So, the people that are going to be accessing it, and of course they can see this as well. Do people ask for money? Do they ask for almost anything?
Right. So right now there are very specific asks. So whether it could be help with food, it could be products specific that are out of pocket that the insurance may not be covering or the health systems may not be able to provide. And so that's actually a tremendous burden that oftentimes is overlooked are these out-of-pocket expenses. Right. And so those are what we're focusing on right now.
Right. But if they're identifying those people that they want to, here are the folks that want to help us on it. And again, why would they need what you're doing versus why don't they just reach out to them?
Yeah, no, great question. So I think, there's, not to dive too far into the weeds, but there's a
dive in the weeds.
Behavioral science side. It's that sometimes people are prideful to ask for help, or oftentimes until it happens, you don't actually know what you need or how to ask for help or what to ask for help. And so that's where we come in to be able to help facilitate that, saying like, here's what other families that have been through this help them, or here's what help these other families. And so it really facilitates that connectivity between the two sides.
You're so spot on that, and it is so true. And until you've walked down that path, whatever it is, a child who's at Rady's or needs to be at Ramadan House Charities or God knows what it is, you're right. And we all know that those people have walked that path as well. Certainly going to give some great advice on it. Is transportation a big issue?
Transportation as well. So credit for that component as well. Gas. We know all these things start adding up pretty quickly. All these trips and time off work. So
right. And do you have a threshold where the people that we have on this, and not just the registry, the ones we're benefiting, have to meet some type of an economic, floor, so to speak? Yeah,
not at this time. We are looking at possible programs to be able to support them in other ways. But right now, that is not identified.
Right. So where do you get your revenue? How do you sustain yourself? And, it's great to be philanthropic and all that, but you do need to probably put food on your table.
Yeah, absolutely. No, great question. So for us, it's always about keeping the impact off the families. And so for us as a company, those partnerships that we have with the services that are providing the support, those partnerships are one of our revenue streams, whether it's the company themselves, the service providers, or local organizations and hospitals, but always keeping the burden off of the family.
Right. So then they'll come to you and let's say they got an issue with health insurance, or they got an issue with whatever, and their list of folks that they've put in this don't have that answer. Do they go to you?
I mean, we'll always do everything we can to connect families to the right resources, and there's a ton here in San Diego.
Right.
And certainly for us, it's empowering the community and those resources. So we'll do everything we can to help them. Obviously, unfortunately, there's a lot of need in the space, and so we don't necessarily have all the answers, but we'll do everything we can to help them find them.
Right, exactly. And so where do you see this going in 5-10 years? Yeah,
so, certainly with the name Family Proud, we know that families don't see borders, of course. We talk about inclusivity. For us, there's families in this day and age all over the world, all over the country.
Right.
And so, certainly proud to start here in San Diego, but for us to be able to grow this and scale this across the country. So.
Right. And so what's the website if people want to get engaged?
Yeah, no, it's www.familyproud.com.
Right. Now, are you looking for more board members? Are you looking for more volunteers? Obviously, you're looking for possibly resources and services, all of the above.
Yeah, so we always say families first. And so, of course, if there's families out there that are looking for support, or there's organizations out there that think that our technology can help empower their community that they already have, and for us to help them, that's first and foremost. And then, of course, furthering partnerships.
Right. And so when we come back from break, Jaden, think about what the technology you have, what differentiates the technology you use, or maybe it's the systems that you use, or whatever the case may be. And you brought up a very good point. We talk about this quite a bit with organizations that are serving, whether it's in the space of literacy or whatever. If you don't make this organization know that you need some help, and you're right, people are proud about certain things, and it's not easy to say you need help. I need help learning how to read. I need help learning how to do X, Y, and Z. No one will know about it. So we'll talk about that, how you get through sort of the psychology of that when we return with Jaden Risner. He is the CEO and co-founder of Family Proud. I'm Drew Schlossberg, and you've been listening to Community Spotlight here on Cloudcast Media Radio. Strategies Group, that will tie in
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
Welcome to Cloudcast 180. We're here today with the president and CEO of Father Joe's Villages. Welcome to Deacon Jim Vargas.
Thank you, Charles. Good to be with you.
We have 3 minutes. Let's hit it fast and furiously. We're going to talk this morning with you about San Diego being a very expensive city, which creates a housing crisis, which is exacerbating the homeless crisis in San Diego. Let's talk about your leadership on this issue.
Sure, absolutely. We do have an affordable housing crisis here in San Diego. In fact, if you asked about the number one issue why people fall into homelessness, it's lack of affordability. And so they fall onto the streets, especially when rents go up, and rents are very expensive here. So we at Father Joe's Villages focus tremendously on housing. In fact, about 40% of our intervention is placing individuals into permanent and affordable housing. All right, so shows you the extent of what we do. And of course, there's services that go along with this, because in order for people to retain their housing, their dwellings, they have to have the services that they're necessary, whether it's mental health services or substance use disorder services, whatever that is. We have a Turning the Key initiative, whereby we'll be introducing 2,000 affordable housing units into the community during the next number of years. In fact, we just closed on a deal to purchase and refurbish a motel in the South Bay area. It's going to add 83 permanent supportive housing units. Next week, we'll be closing financially on a groundbreaking that will have 14-story building, 407 units of housing as well, taking about 550 people off the street. So housing is extremely important.
Which means you're investing a lot of capital. How are you finding that capital to solve the housing crisis in San Diego for homeless folks? 90 to 95% of our funding is public funding. Various sources, whether it be from the state, it be local, county, city, municipality. So most of it is public funding. There's tax credits that are involved there. The capital stack is quite large, actually. So you're finding the land, you're finding the capital, you're changing lives. How are you minimizing the risk of future homelessness for these clients of yours? We're minimizing it through our services. We need to make sure that in order for them to retain the housing, that they receive the services that they need, that are holistic and are comprehensive to their specific needs. That's fantastic. Deacon Jim, in the last 10 years, your organization has taken 11,000 folks from homelessness to a home.
So I congratulate you. Any closing thoughts for our audience?
No, that's what it's all about. And